Hello and good afternoon, welcome back, I'm Ursa Ryan and this is the second AI World Cup Pangaea tiny map. I'm not going to go through the rules again, you know all of those, just watch the first video if you don't understand what's going on. Jumping straight in, this time round we have Shaka Zulu. Now I hope that on a Pangaea map these guys are going to do quite well with their encampment, their troop spawning and the additional combat strength on cores and armies. I really hope that Shaka does well. Their sort of warlike aggression on a Pangaea map where they can sort of march large armies around. I'm really hoping it'll do them well. Tamar of Georgia, who is very good at building defensively, can be quite aggressive. I'm unsure how they're going to play actually. It could be really good, they could be really bad. Hojo of Japan, again quite aggressive. They're not as good at Pangaea maps. A lot of their abilities are suited to shallow waters and sort of continent maps, but generally speaking Japan are pretty good at culture, pretty good at production, pretty good at faith, you know, like a lot of stuff that could help their military powers. Wilhelmina, if they can get a couple of polders down and they can use their ships, which is unlikely on a Pangaea map, they might do alright, but this might be a bit of a stretch for the Netherlands. We'll see how they play. And a Manitore of Nubia with their ranged abilities and increased production to building districts. I'm expecting that Nubia again will do quite well. So jumping straight back in with our Norwegian spectator, they farm right at the map actually this time, so you never know, they might actually survive. We've got a lot of city-states in this bottom corner of the map. Look at that, 6 all put together, but otherwise the Pangaea is pretty wide. We've got Amsterdam on the right, we've got the Zulus up north sending their settler immediately up north, Japan very quickly getting its settler down, which is interesting, up in the north left, and we've got Georgia pretty well placed actually to be in the middle of the map, again a pretty defensive, getting their cities down as well. And Nubia still haven't settled. Oh, that's an interesting one there. Their settler seems to be a little bit bugged, going backwards and forwards. Do you see like that? I'm not entirely sure if they're a bit stuck. Nubia might be struggling with this map for whatever reason. Interestingly, in Heat 1, right on the far left of the map, we also had a peninsula with this Spear of Floon or another wonder on it. So maybe that's just something generated into the Pangaea map. Not entirely sure of that one, but yeah, look, Japan going way up to the north with their settler. Everybody else getting their third city down, including Georgia, the Zulus, and Amsterdam. Amsterdam seem to be going after this city-state almost immediately. Now, how are the Zulu going to take that? That's an incursion of war right on their borders there. Japan also going to war with the city-state and not settling their settler up north as we kind of expected them to. So, looks like Jerusalem might fall to Japan, although it also looks like Georgia are trying to get involved as well. Yes, they are. So, depending on which way this city flips, that could be really important in terms of the power flux there. If Japan get it, they've consolidated this area. If Georgia gets it, Japan are very much limited to the top of the map. Nubia realising that they probably haven't been able to settle. Yeah, look, that settler just still stuck there. Not being able to get that one down, so they're taking over a city-state instead, which is, I mean, probably a good move. I mean, I still don't understand why that settler hasn't moved. That's really bad, and Japan get it. That's an important keep for Japan there, Jerusalem. The settler still stuck up here as well. There's been a lot of settler bugging this game. Amsterdam being very warlike. I mean, look, you can see down here, the Netherlands have got Carthage almost completely surrounded, and they've also got Monjero Daro up in the north almost completely surrounded as well. So an interesting combination. They do take the city down south and loyalty isn't going to be a problem. So the Netherlands quickly pushing to 5 cities. Oh, there we go. And with a 6th settler. So the Netherlands very quickly jumping out of the blocks. Zulus being much more compact actually. They do have a couple of settlers, but it looks like the Zulu don't really know where to settle them at the moment. Now, if I were the Netherlands, I would be a little bit suspicious because, I mean, the Zulu at some point are going to turn very aggressive. It's just how prepared can they be for when that happens. Oh, Nubia do finally get that city down. God, that was painful. Turn 33 it took him to do that. Jesus. They do very quickly have 4 cities though, so they're already on level with Georgia and Japan. If they can pull back Nubia from that appalling start, I will be impressed. And Armagh, looks like Armagh is now being taken by Georgia. Georgia very quickly expanding into the middle of the map with 4 cities. I kind of want to see them have more than 4 though. Japan's still not settling that settler up there, so I don't know what's going on there. Zulu declaring war on the Netherlands, the first big major war we have between major powers. Now, the Zulu are going to very quickly take that city up there to the north. the Netherlands very nicely killing the city-state for them to do most of the work. So this is going to be interesting. When Zulu take that city, our Netherlands going to start having loyalty problems. It's interesting to see that one, actually. Japan are going to try and push through Georgia as well. Now, Georgia have an incredible mountain pass here. Do you see there's actually only one tile and one tile to which troops can pass through the lands. With Georgia can get walls up, which they're pretty good at doing, to be honest. This is going to be very tricky for Japan. Interestingly, as well, Japan and Georgia. Let's have the white and red and the white and orange. Yeah, really, really distinct colour schemes. Thanks, sir. Thanks, Civ. That's really helpful. Why did they not make them like different? That's ridiculous. Nubia have taken Buenos Aires down to the south. Georgia has taken Amar as well. So city-states really falling as we've expected. There were originally 6 down here. So now that Carthage has fallen, and it looks like Vilnius, the Netherlands are technically going out after Vilnius. It's a little bit more naturally defended, this one, so Vilnius might be a harder take. The Zulus have pushed and taken the city up the north with the Netherlands. Now, I don't know whether the Zulu are going to be able to push any further than that. It depends on which way they go. This city here, Haarlem, is probably the best target after that if they can start bringing all these troops down. The Netherlands really do have all of their troops down south attacking city-states, so they've got to be very careful here. I love it when the map does this. Look, a perfect circle of mountains with a mountain in the middle of it. If that wasn't there, could you imagine how hilariously brilliant of a campus that would be? 6 adjacency, probably, it's breathtaking, I would imagine. Yeah, so Australia would get like 9 adjacency from that. Oh, brilliant. Oh, very aggressive settle from Georgia, their loyalty. You're not going to be able to hang on to that one. Oh dear, and Japan are actually pushing down the mountain pass, although they've taken so long that Georgia now have crossbow units and swordsman units, so Georgia looking quite technologically advanced actually. They might be able to hold this one if they can just hold this mountain range. Yeah, look, there we go, the crossbow is now starting to hit the catapults. That's going to help them massively. War up in the north between the Zulus and Netherlands, that hasn't really gone anywhere, to be honest. It's still kicking off, but no side managing to get the push on the other at the moment. Even with this exceptional defence from Georgia, Japan are still managing to get the damage on their city between the catapults and the warriors that can attack. They've got to be very careful, Georgia. Look at that, yeah, down to 3 health now. Now, if that falls, that's going to be a huge swing in this battle, though you do expect with all of these catapults and crossbows in the area that Georgia could very easily take the city back, but they've got to be careful. Yeah, Japan does take the city. Now, how quickly is Georgia going to be able to fight back? Because in theory now, Japan can start building infrastructure and roads through this mountain pass to be able to reinforce the front lines a little bit better. So Japan might start getting the push on Georgia here if they're not careful. Ooh, Norway and Japan have both declared war on the Netherlands. Now Japan is the other side of the map, so that's not going to be very important, but that could be a big mistake from Norway. Our settler AI, not even 3 cities in the corner, doing very nicely. Very nicely indeed, but I mean, now that Amsterdam is at war with them, they may take that I can't talk, I'm so sorry. They may take that as an excuse to wipe over Norway, so Netherlands could get huge in a second. Spectacularly as well, the Netherlands have managed to push right the way to Ulundi. I mean, I'm not entirely sure how they've done that, and even if they took the city they wouldn't be able to hold it, but Zulu, that's your capital. That's your capital. What are you doing? Like, why would you let that happen? Yeah, the Netherlands do take the city. It's incredible from the Netherlands here, which immediately puts this city on loyalty issues. The Netherlands, I mean, it's going to rebel in 9 turns, but I mean, if you can hold it for a couple of turns and then leave it, the Zulu are going to have to take their own capital back as a 3 city. Now that would be appalling. And oh no, look, the city that Japan took also has fallen to being a 3 city as well. So Georgia are going to end up getting that one back, which is, yeah, unfortunately for them, that's not very good. Georgia has made peace with Japan. Now, can Japan steal this city back before it flips back to Georgia? It's putting up walls, so they've got 4 turns to do it. I don't think Japan will do it, although actually Georgia might end up helping them. Yeah, look, their crossbows are actually declaring war here, and Georgia are going after the Netherlands. Now, do they have too much of a shared border? No, it's probably after city-states these guys are probably after. You can see Vilnius has fallen to the Dutch. It looks like Bana Brunei might fall to Georgia soon if they can get troops to it. Oh wow, look, the Zulu cities are really starting to get hammered by the Dutch now, and oh my goodness, the Netherlands are going to hold on to the loyalty of this city. Now, the Netherlands can use their trade routes to encourage loyalty. That is one of their abilities that, to be honest, always seems a bit rubbish, but actually this might be doing something quite important here. The Netherlands do take this city, and it looks like Zulus are having a proper loyalty issue. Georgia and Japan both declaring war on the Zulus. Georgia and Netherlands, Japan and Netherlands have made peace. So the Zulus are now the world's favourite enemy, not the Netherlands. That's an interesting one. I think quite clearly here the Netherlands are being deemed as, what, too powerful to go after, and the Zulus not so much. You can see Norway actually now beginning to get surrounded by the Dutch. If these cities fall, then the Dutch are on a huge amount of the empire that's sort of theirs to keep, really. We haven't really talked about Nubia too much because, to be honest, they haven't really done much. I mean, it looks like they're trying to go after the city-state on the far left of the map, but the geography here is going to make that very difficult to attack. They're just going to have to keep running galleys into the city, to be honest. Just this long strip of land down here, but really otherwise they're not really doing much. You can see through the city-states all along the borders keep flipping in terms of loyalty, so there's a bit of a skirmish going on with those constantly. Japan and Georgia still maintaining the peace, which is quite a nice one to see, and Netherlands is still pushing into Zulu lands. They have also taken one... Here we go, they took this Zulu, the Norwegian city. They actually took the capital. They ran round the back and took the capital first, so the Dutch just clearly on top of this game at the moment. It'd be interesting to see if they can hold the entire empire, or whether loyalty and things like that is going to be a problem later in the game. Interestingly, Norway lost their last city to loyalty before the Dutch could finish taking it. I do like it when that happens. The game actually accelerates the last couple of cities leaving the game. It's just like, no, you don't deserve these. Loyalty is too much of an issue for you. And this one, this city-state is going to flip in 2 turns as well. Oh no, actually full loyalty sooner rather than later. I was about to say the Dutch might actually take that city as well, just purely because of the weight of other cities they have in the area. You can see here Lundi actually has been taken back by the Zulu. The Zulus being able to sort of fortify their power a little bit, but Japan bringing samurai down now. That's tough. Yeah, the Japanese samurai are really tough, and the Dutch now starting to take these cities, other cities falling, the Zulu recapitulating right now. It's going to be difficult for them to get back into this one. Yeah, this must be really frustrating for the Dutch. They've done all the hard work to be able to hit all of these Zulu cities, basically make the Zulus capitulate, and Japan are just running in now and taking the cities. In fact, what might happen is all of these are beginning to flip to 3 cities now, so if this one goes as well, with this Nongoma over here, that will rebel in 3 turns, we might almost have the United States of Freedom as we've had in previous games before, where the 3 states will just start giving themselves enough loyalty to become like a completely self-sustaining state. Might happen, you know. I always like it when that happens. Japan and Zulu making peace, so looks like Japan are gonna go to all that effort to take the city, make peace, and then lose it. Good play there, Japan. Yep. Look, it's just happened. Just, why? The Dutch finally are starting to have some luck. This city flips over, this city flips over, so the Zulu is now on 2. This is it's such a shame from the Zulu. Just quite a poor showing in general. Georgia at war with the Zulu. Are they going to come in and just steal the city? I mean, they wouldn't be able to hold on to it, but that would be quite a fun move from Georgia if they did manage that. Yeah, look, they are. Look at that. Brilliant. Oh, I've just seen some Dutch cavalry. I think actually the Dutch are tech leaders at the moment. I haven't seen any sort of equivalent strength troops, although actually Georgia do have pike and shot. So I think Georgia also up there on tech. Lundi has fallen to the Netherlands, which weirdly, that city doesn't have loyalty, although all of the other cities in the area do. Sometimes this loyalty system is a little bit strange. I'm not entirely sure exactly how it works, but these cavalry are going to make short work of these extra or final Zulu cities. So the Dutch clearly on top here, but the Georgia actually also have a fairly decently sized empire. If Georgia were to get their act together and start sending all these pike and shot and powerful units down to take on Nubia, for instance, they might be able to do themselves some good here. Also a couple of little islands off the Japanese coast, which I'm very surprised that Japan haven't tried to settle on. Normally they love islands.